you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Christine Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers. Every business I know, whether you are at your first 100K or an 8-figure business, all started at the same place. All of us start at ground zero. And many of us, most of the entrepreneurs that I encounter are bootstrapping, which means they are self-funding and building as revenue moves north. And today I'm super excited to bring a guest who has walked that, somebody who started from ground zero, built to a team of over 200 people and an 8-figure global business, one step at a time. So please give a very warm welcome to our guest today on Amplify Your Marketing Message. This is Jacqueline Basulto. I'm excited to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Christine. It's an honor. Excited to have this conversation and hopefully reach other entrepreneurs.
I love it. Thank you for coming to talk business with me. So you've started this business called SeedX. And yes. When you started, did you ever imagine, first off, that you would build such a business with so many people, spending so many clients, and really creating sizable revenue moving through the business as you serve other people?
No, I think I'll answer that question in kind of an oxymoronical way. I think I had no idea, and at the same time, I always had huge ambitions that it would be a great big success, even beyond where we are today. But the way that we got there and what we've become is different from what I originally envisioned. And I think that is just a testament to the fact that I was bootstrapping. I was just responding to the market and evolving myself and evolving the company as kind of made sense with, financially, with our values, with what people needed. And so I could have never imagined where we are and who we are today. But I always had faith that we would get to a big place, if that makes sense.
It does. I think faith and a cup of ambition creates amazing journeys and amazing stories. And I want to take you back to the very beginning, because one of the podcast episodes that I recently shared that will resonate very well in sequence with what you've just said is, I had this evolution and I responded to it. But I want to know in the very beginning, when you talk bootstrapping, what was the reality? Did you have support? Did you have funding? Did you think I needed money to get this going? What was it like at the very beginning stages?
Well, I think my situation was a little bit unique, or maybe not so unique, just the situation. I was really young when I started SeedX. I was about 22. And it started as me freelancing, trying to figure out what to do in the entrepreneurship world. And so I had no money. I don't come from like family money or anything like that. I turned down a full-time job at Google, which everyone around me thought was the dumbest thing that I could possibly do. I turned down a scholarship to a law school program. So my parents were infuriated with me and terrified, and they were like, "What are you doing?" So at
so many levels.
Yes, on one hand, I was completely broke, but on the other hand, I was also so young and so used to being broke, having just left school, that it didn't affect me in the same way that I think it would today. Having children and, bills that I can't ignore and things like that. So yes, but the reality really was that I didn't have income. I didn't know what to expect from this business. And so it was a big risk in retrospect.
I love this. I think there are two very different camps when it comes to the financial side of this. When you don't have any, I love that you say this. I didn't know that I was living any leaner than I was already living lean. And the other side is when you have had a corporate salary, or you have had some stability or the illusion of stability in a corporate world. Your also biggest fear is, I don't want to go back to being lean. And I will tell you, being hungry, whether that is, from a real physical side of you, or from an ambition point of view, from a dreaming point of view, hunger fuels, I have to find a way. So I'm curious, as you started to find your way, when was it really clear to you that it had to go beyond you, that there was a possibility you could expand to take on more than what you were physically one person capable of handling?
Yes, I think a lot of that kind of evolved from listening to the market, right? So I think I had a really good vision for what I wanted marketing to look like, what eventually became SeedX, but it was impossible for me to do it all on my own, especially as client expectations evolved. I can get by designing a website, for example, but I'm by no means a user experience designer or a web developer. And that I bring up that specific example because I closed this deal to build an app. And that's when I kind of said to myself, I'm way in over my head. I have to start experimenting with the idea of hiring people. And I think it just came through me understanding I didn't have the expertise to do everything. And so that's what led to my first hires. And I think my relationship with hiring has changed a lot over time because I didn't like letting go of work at the beginning. And now I love finding great people who can do things better than myself. But that's where it started, at least.
This is really important for people to hear. And it's a tough transition. And I applaud you for being honest. It wasn't pretty looking in the rearview mirror. That first hire, the first few hires, it's hard to learn to delegate. And there is a real truth. To get to the next level, to serve at another level, we've all been head over deep going, oh dear. But there's great talent. There are people who love areas that you don't have talent in yet. And you cannot simply do it all and create stability, enduringness, and longevity. Because evolution is key. And this concept you have of, I let the market tell me what it needed and I responded to it, is so important. I think a lot of entrepreneurs go off course because they're like, I created a great product, now where do I sell it? Mm-hmm. And you're saying I had skills that the market needed and I listened to what the market wanted. But you have to get the marriage, and a lot of creatives struggle with this. A lot of marketing agencies really struggle with this. This idea that I don't just get to create, I have to build a business. I have to understand job functions of sales and marketing. So where did you start to realize there's a difference and an alignment that needed to be intentionally built?
Between creating and responding to the market?
Yes,
specifically. I think that it's funny. I always remember when I was first getting interested in entrepreneurship, reading in books by famous leaders that you have to be responding to a need. And I don't think you really understand that until you start experiencing it. And I think you really start to see that the market, people in specific roles, people at different types of companies respond to different value propositions, different messaging, different things that are filling needs that they have that are either eternal, they're kind of evergreen needs, or they're needs that exist in this exact moment. And typically when you're actually filling, I'm experiencing this even now. My current kind of challenge right now at work is expanding our sales team, and the messages that work the best, and this is what I learned at the beginning too, but have to remind myself, are the messages that really touch on what people are experiencing now and the products that help fulfill those needs.
It's interesting to hear you say I'm in an expansion of sales team. And I want to talk about when you first started to realize that you didn't need to lead every sales call. Because when you first started out as a solopreneur, we're wearing all the hats. And I know a lot of people are like, I can't wait to outsource sales. And yet it's one of the hardest, challenging things to do because it is confronting. It is hard to find great talent. And I want to know when you started to make that shift of realizing I am the bottleneck if I'm always the founder-led salesperson, to the place where you're now saying, I have a team and I'm expanding it. And how did you get there?
Sure. I think for a while, especially as a marketing company owner, it was easy and necessary for me to be the salesperson because we were focusing so much on building out our operational arm, like hiring the people to actually deliver on and create strategic marketing. And so for a while, from a financial perspective, because we are financially limited by our revenue, we, I think, smartly focused on making sure we had operations done well and that we weren't over hiring and then creating. There's kind of a juggle between sales and actually being able to deliver on those sales, right? So for a while, it made sense for me to sit in the sales seat while our team kind of caught up. And then we reached a place where we had almost just like too much availability. Like we had a team that was in a great place. We were no longer having like mistakes come up in our deliverables. Our projects, for the most part, were running really well. Our clients were happy, and there wasn't enough work. And I myself was not able to generate the amount of work necessary or the amount of work that was reliable, which is probably really important because I'm pulled in so many different directions. I'm doing a podcast, I'm talking to clients, I'm managing our team. And then that's just professionally, I have 100 roles. I have a bunch of roles at home too. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have dogs, like all these things. I'm a person. I just realized that I myself cannot consistently show up for this one role in the way that it needs to be shown up for to create success for not just myself, but for our team to sustain them.
This requires a lot of self-discipline to recognize this because this never changes. And I think this is the illusion we have to pop the bubble on. So guys, settle down, buttercups. We're going to go there. There's a time and place when you realize you are always solving capacity. Either, in your case, we have spare capacity with great team we want to keep working and staying with us, so we must sell more. And when we sell more, we always have to backfill potentially strategic hires who can do fulfillment. And what is your next strategic hire is one of the most important hats that you wear as a CEO. And you are a CEO and often an employee. So you're playing duality here. But to recognize this is critical. And it's when you face that demon, when you face that, oh my gosh, moment, you have to move swiftly to bringing in and working to equalize the best of both worlds. You can't do it when you have a limited, finite bandwidth. Because it'll never be convenient to have enough sales calls, but sales, this is the most important lesson I learned in corporate, sales equals headcount. Yep. Without the sales, you do not have a business. You do not have the way to keep the doors, lights, and buildings functioning. You can't delay sales forever. And if it reaches capacity, you have to hire for it and hire well for it. So as you look at your business right now, because you say your team is in a sales growth mode, what are you specifically looking for? And what do you think is going to help your business continue to be stable, to continue to see the right dream high-paying clients come your way? What is on the forefront of your mind in this period of hiring?
What's on the forefront of my mind? It's a great question. I think that I have one of the magical things about founder-led sales, and I think one of the difficult things about agency sales specifically is that I know all of our service lines pretty well, or very well, because I work with our team. I know our whole team. I know exactly how our projects work. I know what case studies we have, etc. And so I want to find people for our team who are going to care enough to really listen to people's business challenges when they come to speak with us, and then also be able to speak to maybe not just one business line, but how our approach and our team and our process can support them specifically. And so that's always the biggest challenge, is finding someone who is willing to learn a holistic approach to marketing and not just a single product. Like a lot of salespeople nowadays have a lot of experience in SaaS and software, and it's very product focused. There's only a few different ways to use that product, right? And I think the way that we approach sales is very much like a doctor helping to create a solution for that patient. And so I'm looking for someone who can kind of bring that emotional intelligence and also be open to learning all there is to learn.
We need thinkers, and this is such an interesting thing in the world of AI. And this seems ironic because I think we've forgotten, and we are certainly dumbing down our capabilities of thinking. And I know that's why I champion in the way I do for my business and for my clients is like, I want you to be able to navigate anything. I want you to actually connect the dots. I want you to learn your own reasoning, because that will be the way you create your own economy. You survive the product evolutions, the evolution and responsiveness to the clients and the marketplace. But guys, I gotta tell you, when you show up, please bring your brain. And that's I know, a real controversial opinion in circles that I'm part of, because they're like, well, how do we automate the not thinking? I'm like, I think that's dangerous. It's not how we'll build our business. That's a choice I fundamentally stand on.
Yes, absolutely. I think every sale is different, and I've had challenges with that, because there are some forms of sales that are very based on urgency and pushing and creating deals and things like that, and they're so opposed to how I want to do sales that it can be challenging to find someone who, like you said, wants to really engage and think through each person as an individual.
Well, and I have great faith they are out there. And the coolest bit about business, and I love how you hold your North Star here, is I want to find the people that are right for me. Mm-hmm. Because my business has gone from zero to a substantial 8-figure business, and it has done so because of your stewardship. Right. And stewardship because you brought your humanness to the equation. You're building relationships, global teams. You've got family commitments in life that you choose to say, this is me, and I'm not going to apologize for any of it, because I love what I'm building. And that's that cup of faith, cup of audacious, let's do this, that I think I certainly applaud, and I'd love to bear witness to it, truthfully. I think the world needs more of it.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. So I want to ask you a question, because it's important in this world. Like, you are a mom and you're building this and you're staying true to what you believe in. What tip would you give to somebody right now who is at the wobble of, can I show up as all of me to win in this marketplace?
I think it's a difficult question, and it's one that I would be remiss to admit that I deal with still, especially during difficult times. And my advice would really be to take it day by day. I think that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to see change immediately, especially with how quickly our world feels like it's moving with our rate of communication. But for me, what keeps me grounded and sane, especially on days where my 3-year-old gets sick and it throws my entire schedule off, and I have a million things to do, and then I get sick, and how that
every parent knows it.
I treat life like a triage when those things happen, and I try to have faith. It goes back again to having faith that if I show up to that day the best that I can, then I'm building the bricks to get to the next level. Even if that day the work doesn't look as great as it did the day before. And so that's what I try especially since having kids, I think I've had to kind of reassess my expectations of myself on a day-to-day and look at the whole a little bit more.
I love that. Change how your success is defined based on the season you are in. Because some days Mach 10 hair on fire will feel very different than tomorrow's. I have Mach 10 hair on fire because I got out of bed. And I think we all need to really choose our success and how we define it and reset their expectations and let the guilt go as best we can. It's not perfect, but it is a brick by brick process. So I want to ask this, because I ask all my guests who come onto the show, what's working right now for you in your business to continue to find high paying clients that you love to work with that are thrilled to say, yes, let's do this?
Yes, great question. And I think a lot of it goes back to that same concept that we've been talking about, which is really connecting with people in the market on a human level and understanding and meeting them where they are. And so I really love to work with business owners and marketers who have the same values as us. They want to grow. They want to be challenged. And so typically that's where I'm looking at, how do these people currently need, or what do these people currently need to have their needs met? And a lot of that right now is around the conversation, for us at least, is around the conversation of how is AI and LLMs and search all going to change the way that marketing looks. And so what's working for me right now in terms of connecting with more people and building relationships for the business is just giving people good content on those topics, meeting them where they are, and continuing to really just be of service to this moment, to the people that we like to work with, which I think is a lot of it in line with how I started. Maybe, I knew less, I was less experienced, so I was meeting different people in a different way. But as we evolve, that's really, I think, what just stays at the center.
It does. So how do people find you, connect to you, and learn more about SeedX?
Yes, so I am pretty active on LinkedIn. I post often, and I'm happy to connect to and talk to whoever would like to. It's just under my name, Jacqueline Basulto. And our website is seedx.us if you want to learn more about the company.
Guys, please go connect to this. When you are starting, you might not envision just the ripples that you can cast in your family life, in your business, but it always comes and starts with a cup of ambition, a lot of faith, and a willingness to say, can I respond, be of service, and lean into the discomfort of changing success measures. I think you're a great light. I'm so glad you came into our world and said, let's have a conversation. We rise together, and we don't always have it easy. In fact, most of us have a story that would break your heart, but you can bootstrap your business to a really big dream by simply saying, I'm in, I'm here, let's evolve. And I celebrate a new year of success for you and the team at SeedX. Thank you for being our guest today on Amplify Your Marketing Message. It's go time, my friends. Step in. The water's great. We'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all